The legendary soul singer, actress, performer, and fashion killer, Solange, currently stands in her own lane in the music world. She exudes divine energy, elegance, fire, and sex appeal that matches the legendary Diana Ross. Solange commands a lot of respect from her peers in music and is seen as a true artist, which I think is a dying breed in today's fast-paced music climate. At a young age, Solange expressed interest in performing and following in her sister's Beyoncé's footsteps. The young icon in the making had her own style, yet would get to an extent justifiable Beyoncé comparisons and referred to as Beyoncé's little sister. Comparing siblings in Hollywood almost seems like a rite of passage, something to overcome. Michael and Janet Jackson, Jaden and Willow Smith, and Miley and Noah Cyrus are some examples of other famous siblings that got compared at some point in their careers. Typically, the sibling that started their career first, or the one that first gained fame and notoriety, is seen as the trendsetter, and the newer siblings spend a majority of their career trying to prove that they are their own person, and in most cases is never taken seriously. Rarely do we get to witness that sibling shattering all notions about them as they finally and triumphantly find their own identity, changing the dynamic on how they are perceived in their family sphere. Solange was born in Houston, Texas on June 24, 1986 to parents Matthew and Tina Knowles. Solange was looked at as Beyoncé's little sister, and the title kind of became her identity. It was easy for the general public to compare her to Beyoncé, as the Houston native's intro as a recording artist was on the opening theme song for Disney's The Proud Family, Backed by Destiny's Child, which her sister Beyoncé is a part of. Solange released her debut studio album titled Solo Star in 2002, which was primarily R&B. Unfortunately, Solo Star underperformed, debuting and peaking at number 49 on the US Billboard 200 before dropping off the chart 5 weeks after its debut, and sold 112,000 copies in the US. And I am not going to lie, the album sounds a lot like Beyoncé, which is okay, because it was her first album and Beyoncé was probably her biggest inspiration. So yeah, the album did not make so much noise as there were other stronger R&B artists out there like Alicia Keys, Usher, and yes, Destiny's Child. It couldn't compete with the big dogs of R&B at the time, but it showed the industry Solange had a lot of potential, seeing she was only 16 at the time of the release. Solange was in the House of Darion campaigns, Got Milk commercial, and a L'Oreal commercial alongside Beyoncé. Now these gigs were definitely a win and a loss in my opinion. Let me explain. Yes, Solange got coverage, but as who? Beyoncé's little sister. By that time, Beyoncé was a solo superstar, and nobody took Solange seriously, and most people saw these collaborations as nepotism. Even when she did solo work, the credit went to Beyoncé for some reason. Solange started working on her second album in 2005 following her divorce from Daniel Smith, with whom she lived following the birth of her son Daniel Jules in October 2004. She departed Columbia and signed with Geffen Records in late 2007. The production was heavily influenced by the Motown sound of the 60s and 70s. It's reported, while creating the project, Solange had a harder time getting producers on board, and it took CeeLo Green and Mark Ronson some convincing to join the album's production. Solange and the Hadley St. Dreams was released in 2008, which also received poor sales, up 138 as of 2009 despite receiving positive reviews from critics. In 08 to 09, electropop was dominating the charts.
Gotta get boom boom proud. Gotta get this year's remix with the future sound.
leaving Solange's Motown-inspired record being swept under the table. No pun intended. In 2009, the artist left Geffen Records in a tweet saying, "Although it's been a wonderful journey and experience at Interscope Records, after truly recognizing what's important to me as an artist, I decided it was time for me to continue my path on a more independent platform. I'm excited about continuing to dive in, experiment, and creating music and art with no boundaries, fears, or expectations." True. An extended play was released on November 27, 2012. This was when Solange really started to come into her own, and there was not a comparison in sight. While producing the EP, Solange had a mental breakdown as she dived deep in the recording process. In a 2010 Vibe interview, the singer says, "I literally gave up my sanity for a while to do this record. We literally were waking up in the morning and just making music all day, all night." The Neo Soul 7 tracks EP delivered 3 singles: Losing You, Looks Good with Trouble, and Lovers in the Parking Lot. Solange separated herself from Beyoncé, but not just B, but from every pop R&B artist. She unleashed her true sound. Now, if you think True was peak Solange, what were you thinking, man? Solange released one of the most groundbreaking bodies of work in 2016, A Seat at the Table. Released through Solange's imprint Saint Records and Columbia, laced with psychedelic soul, funk, and R&B. Solange sings with an amazing calm tone. The album is socially aware, tackling racism, loneliness, and self-care. Songs that speak to the soul on a conscious and unconscious level. Solange recruited rapper Master P. He appeared on the album's interludes along with her parents Matthew Knowles and Tina Lawson and Kelly Rowland. The album also features Lil Wayne, The Dream, Sampha, Kalila, and more. Don't touch my hair. Don't Touch My Hair featuring Sampha is one of the standout songs on the project. Get out my face, don't touch my hair. F off. It's simple. If you get it, and if you don't, oh boy. It's a celebration of self-love and black pride. A Seat at a Table was widely acclaimed by critics, and it became the singer's first #1 album on the US Billboard 200. The lead single, Cranes in the Sky, won a Grammy for Best R&B Performance, becoming Solange's first Grammy nomination and win. In 2020, the album was ranked at number 312 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time list. On the artist's 4th studio album, When I Get Home, Solange dedicates the project to her hometown Houston. Honestly, When I Get Home needs a video to itself, but I'm gonna try my best to sum it up. This is not just an album, but a 33-minute film. The album is an exploration of origin, asking the question of how much of ourselves do we bring with us versus leave behind in our evolution. Solange's representative said in a statement,
"Do nothing without intention."
Hello.
On When We Get Home, Solange collaborated with Tyler the Creator, The Dream, Metro Boomin, Playboi Carti, and more. The album incorporates R&B, psychedelic, new age trap, jazz, and ambient sounds. The project was acclaimed by critics and received an 89 out of 100 score from Metacritic. Solange is an artistic genius in her field. She stands unmatched by her contemporaries. She's bold and all about her music, as she turns off all the comments on her YouTube. She takes her music to necessary places in society, the places the audience and other singers runs and hides from. She is a true artist, one that needs to be protected and preserved at all cost. Put some respect on her name, cause she is Solange, not Beyonce's little sister. Tell me what you think about Solange in the comments section. I personally think she's one of the greatest right now. Subscribe to the channel for more videos. I am Don, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.